For 6 years, I was Ava Brown's boyfriend and her assistant. I was with her from the day she had nothing to her name to the moment she became a star. But on the night she won her 5th award, she stood on stage and announced her engagement to another man. I owe all of my success to Cody's support, she declared, a spotlight haloing her. He is the love of my life. Her eyes, deliberately or not, flickered to where I stood in the corner of the crowd, a silent warning in their depths. I walked out of the auditorium and dialed my family's number. Dad, I said, my voice steady. I was wrong. Go ahead and find me a match for an arranged marriage. My father's joy was palpable. Forget the marriage. Your mother and I are just waiting for you to take over. Son, when are you coming home to run Vance Corporation? A roar erupted from the auditorium behind me, punctuated by ecstatic screams as they kissed. My ship has sailed. I smiled faintly. Soon. I should be home the day after tomorrow. My father was stunned by my reply. Every time he tried to persuade me to come home and inherit the business, I'd shut him down, insisting that Ava was on the verge of greatness and my patience would soon pay off. Well, she'd found her greatness. I, however, hadn't been paid at all. Just as I hung up, Ava emerged from a side exit, clinging to Cody as they slipped away from the throng of people. She saw me looking at my phone and frowned, walking over. At that moment, a text from my father came through. To celebrate you getting your head on straight, I'm buying you a watch. Pick one. He'd sent photos from several elite brands. Every single one was a 7-figure timepiece. Before I could reply, the phone was snatched from my hand. I looked up. Ava was smiling. Well, you're catching on. I was just about to buy Cody a diamond watch. She pointed to one of the photos. This one. I'll take this one for Cody. Cody leaned down and kissed her cheek. Thanks, Ava. Then he turned to me with a saccharine smile. Thanks for taking care of Ava all these years, Leo. But you don't have to trouble yourself anymore. You can leave her to me now. With that, he and Ava walked towards the media scrum that had chased them out. I watched them go, a sharp pain twisting in my chest. As I was leaving, a message from Ava popped up. Paparazzi at the back entrance. Be careful when you leave. And remember not to say anything you shouldn't. I don't want Cody to be harassed. I texted back. I don't have the car keys. Her reply came half an hour later. I'm taking Cody for a drive. What do you need keys for? Figure out a way to distract the paparazzi yourself. No excuses for being lazy. I gave a bitter laugh and headed out anyway. The news of her engagement was explosive enough that most of the seasoned paparazzi had already snuck into the main hall. Only a few inexperienced stragglers were left waiting outside. I tried to slip away unnoticed. The day had left me emotionally and physically exhausted. In my haste, I misstepped and twisted my ankle, forcing me to limp a long way before I felt safe enough to call a car. At 2 in the morning, the incessant ringing of the doorbell woke me. I looked through the peephole to see a drunken Ava swaying on my doorstep. The moment I opened the door, she fell into my arms, murmuring, honey, I'm a little hungry. Can you make me some of that soothing chicken broth? In the past, whenever she had a late night of schmoozing, I'd make her a pot of broth, worried about her stomach. This time, I just pushed her away, my face a blank mask. I'm tired. Order something. Her drunken haze seemed to clear a little. Her expression soured. Leo Vance, have I been too nice to you? I told you beforehand this was a publicity stunt. I told you to stay calm and wait for my explanation. And now you're throwing a tantrum? I met her gaze evenly. Then explain. Her face flushed. After a few seconds of silence, she suddenly swept everything off the coffee table with a furious roar. Why are you doing this? Why now? We agreed from the start. We said we'd focus on our careers. And once I was successful, we'd get married. I just won a major award, but I'm still a long way from the top. Being with Cody is for the buzz, for the exposure. If you can't help me, fine, but at least don't drag me down. You're exhausting me. She stormed out, slamming the door behind her. I stood in the living room for a long time, a desolate coldness seeping into my heart. 6 years, and it was still the same old line, wait until she was successful. I took a deep breath. If I still held on to any illusions after this, then whatever happened next, I would have no one to blame but myself. It was time to get my head on straight. Sleep was impossible now, so I scrolled through my phone and noticed an unread message from my father. Leo, about that musician girlfriend you kept insisting Stellar Records sign. I never thought she was right for you. I assume you don't want us to sign her now? To help Ava, I had relentlessly badgered my family for resources. They'd finally given in and thrown a few contracts her way, helping her through her toughest period. But I thought it wasn't enough. I demanded our family's record label, Stellar Records, sign her to a long-term deal. Stellar Records had an incredibly high bar for talent. Based on Ava's fame over the past couple of years, she didn't actually qualify, but my love-addled brain hadn't cared. I'd fought with my family for months, even giving them the silent treatment when they refused. Finally, they'd relented, making a deal with me. If Ava won this year's Musician of the Year award, they would sign her. Thinking about it now, maybe I owed Ava a thank you for her little announcement today. If I'd been the one to drag down Stellar's reputation, I'd be the family's greatest sinner. I checked the time. My father was likely asleep. I decided to reply in the morning, but as I scrolled, I drifted into a hazy sleep on the couch. I was jolted awake before 7 by a commotion downstairs. I opened the bedroom door and stepped into the hallway. Before I even made it to the stairs, Ava, who had just come in, saw me and her face darkened. Get back in your room, she snapped. The media is coming for an interview. I was leaving tomorrow anyway and didn't want any more drama, so I turned to go back. Wait, go hide in the storeroom, she called after me. They'll want to photograph the master bedroom. Go clean it up first. Make sure there's no sign a man has been living here. Hurry up. She then turned and pulled Cody in from the doorway. What are you doing standing out there, silly? I needed to pack my things regardless, so I didn't argue. I went straight to the master bedroom. The packing was done quickly. It was laughable, really. I'd lived here for over 2 years, but the sum of my possessions was pitifully small. When I emerged with my suitcase, Ava and Cody were flirting. The moment she saw me, her face hardened. What took you so long to pack your things? Fine, whatever. Just get in the storeroom. Now. But I ignored her and walked toward the front door. Ava panicked. She rushed over to grab me, yelling, they're almost here. Are you trying to get yourself killed walking out now? I was sleep deprived and weak. She easily dragged me to the storeroom, shoved me inside, and locked the door from the outside. Don't come out until they're gone. Soon after, I heard the sounds of many people arriving. The noise was muffled. The villa she'd bought after making it big had excellent soundproofing. I could hear her giving them a tour, her voice fading in and out as she moved from room to room, chattering away. I hadn't eaten breakfast, and a gnawing hunger began to set in. Nearly 3 hours hours later, the voices started to fade as the crew seemed to be leaving, but after that, Ava didn't come back. My stomach was now aching with hunger. I wanted to message her and tell her to let me out, but when I pulled out my phone, I saw the battery was dead. I pounded on the door a few times, but it was useless. Ava hated having strangers in the house, so she only ever hired hourly cleaners. Most of the housework fell to me. It was 10 o'clock at night when the door finally opened. By then, I was lying on the floor, on the verge of passing out from hunger. Ava looked down at me, not with concern, but with a disgusted frown. What are you being so dramatic for? It's just one day without food. Seriously? I was too weak to argue. I just managed to part my lips. Oh my, Leo, are you okay? Cody peeked out from behind Ava, his face beaming with unconcealed glee. It's all my fault. I told Ava I was craving the fish from that famous seafood place, so she drove an hour just to take me there. That's why we're back so late. Ava waved a dismissive hand. Don't mind him. It's not the first time he skipped a meal. He'll be fine. Her words sent a chill through me. I developed stomach problems years ago while running myself ragged trying to prove her talent to my parents, often forgetting to eat. To keep her from worrying, I'd always pretended it was nothing. Back then, she'd cried and promised that when she made it big, she'd treat me to the finest food in the world. Now, that memory had become a knife she used to stab me. A loaf of bread was tossed onto the floor in front of me. Cody was kind enough to remember you probably hadn't eaten, so he had me bring this back for you. You should be grateful. I didn't have the energy to fight. I grabbed the bread and wolfed it down, choking in my haste. I scrambled to the kitchen, grabbed the nearest cup, and filled it with tap water, gulping it down until I could breathe again. Cody burst out laughing behind me. Leo, you looked like a starving ghost just now. I turned around. He stuck his tongue out playfully. Oops, sorry. I'm just a really direct person. I say what I think. No hard feelings.